Hello? Can you guys hear me? Is my voice louder than the music? Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Uh, God damn it. The broadcaster crashed, but I should be live now. Can someone type something on the chat so I can see if you guys can hear me? Can you guys hear me? I'll just type it in the chat. Yes, yes. Hey, what's up, Bloody? What's up, Assassinate? Hello, Braulio. How are you guys doing? Good afternoon. Get yourselves comfortable. Grab a pillow, hug it. Go get an ice cream. Do you guys eat ice creams during winters as well, or it's just... It can't be just me, but... Of course. Okay, so one thing that has been helping me a lot with establishing illustrations is actually do something with the background. Whatever it is, you just put something in it, even if it's not, nothing final, nothing. Just put something to give you a direction. Yeah, I do. What kind of ice creams do you guys eat? Like, you're more of a, what you call it, like waffle-based ice cream? Or do you prefer more of a frozen ice cream? Or maybe like just the ice cream itself? What you call it, like a vanilla ice cream? So right now I'm just throwing in shapes, see what I like. Slowly getting some ideas where I want to go with this. And yeah, as usual, if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. I eat every kind of ice cream. I'm happy when we actually have one at home. That's the good thing about, you know, once you start earning your own money, you can eat as many as you want. Okay, so stay like this. Soft serve is okay at times. Okay, so I just gonna add the dude here. So what I've been doing nowadays, to do these quick sketches, it's actually I try to line art with the color of each element. So right now I'm working on a face, right? So I'll do this mix of line art with shape painting, and in the end that's gonna, you know, make things a lot faster and still have your drawing okay. Still not the most accurate thing to do, but just for an idea, it's working pretty well. So I'll just add in some I want some kind of hair. I want like hair blowing in the wind. So the beginning is very crude, but we'll reach a stage where everything is gonna be pretty nice. Oh, probably it's a good thing I don't earn money yet. I would get fat. Usually you just eat until you're feeling sick or something. Also depends of the ice cream, because some ice creams are easier to eat more times than others, depending on how sweet it is. Okay, so I'm gonna add here some lighting to this ad. So as you can see, automatically I skipped a few steps and I'm already having some things established. It's, you know, it stays rough for a little bit, for the first like 20-30 minutes. But once we start actually shaping things up, then things start to fall into shape much faster. Like I really like doing this because it lets me focus on the drawing. Like how should I explain this? Like on the drawing of the actual light and shadow, and drawing its shapes, and that actually forces you to focus on where everything falls in terms of light and shadow. See, let's put this darker. Let's what we want. Okay, I'm gonna add some other clothing to this guy. So we're gonna do exactly the same. I'm gonna draw a little bit using the color of the clothing. So I'm gonna sketch in, you know, it doesn't have to be, if you're looking to put an idea out quickly, then it doesn't have to be super accurate. But the thing that I've fell already a few times with this is that you know, the drawing doesn't become as good, at least to me. I've noticed that the drawing becomes more sloppy. So if you fall into that as well, all you gotta do is just spend more time actually drawing. You know, you still use the color of whatever thing you're drawing. So if I'm drawing this coat, I pick a color and a local value of that coat, and then I draw, you know, as if you're, you know, just drawing line art. And so that's what I'm actually gonna do with this coat. It's still something that I'm developing. Still kind of messy, this technique, but the basic of it actually works. No, I brought it downstairs. So right now I'm just drawing in the outline of the coat. Maybe I want a better coat design. Right now it's just very simple. I actually like the rounded edges. Maybe I'll add little designs. I want him to have really high color. So I'm deciding for kind of what pose he's doing. I want him to hold something as well. Right now I'm thinking about more placement rather than the accuracy of drawing. His head is way too small, so what I'm gonna do, just grab this section, make it like so, maybe a tad bigger. Drunk Jesus, hey, what's up, man? Welcome. So Drunk Jesus asks, why do you paint and draw at the same time? I often see artists do a full line drawing before painting. Very interesting to me. I do exactly that. I'm one of those artists. Honestly, you can kind of group artists into sections. So there's artists who do line art, like full-on line art, and then they do an underpainting with color and then an overpainting. Then there's those artists who do, they do grayscale paintings, and then they just turn them into color using color modes. And there's another type of artist that they go full-on color, full-on everything, like directly, right? And the last type of artist that I just described, the ones that they dive right into it. They have no fear whatsoever. Those kind of artists get things done very, very fast. So from my personal observation, I'm like, I love drawing, right? This is me trying to find ways to actually use what I use the technique that I usually use, which is just do line art, like a nice line art, and then underpainting, and that's fine and all, but it takes its time because the drawing needs to be nice, right? And we all know that shape painting, like painting the shape of the shadows, for example, and light, it's much faster than actually drawing with line art, but it can be a little bit less accurate. And especially to someone who, like me, who's not very into shape. I mean, I am into shape painting, but I'm not very good at it. Like, my brain does not process that way of painting naturally. It's something that you always have to work on. I can do it, but it's not the most pleasureful in comparison to line art. I just love lines. So, conclusion. I want to use lines and do shape painting with color, like those artists who dive right into color, right? And I tried a million techniques and ways of going about it, and I so far found this way to be the most successful to me. At least it makes sense to me. And another thing, what I was doing before is actually line arting with gray color, and then I would paint over. But then what would happen is that you could see the lines, the sketchy lines, and they were gray or whatever color I would choose. So, and that was a problem to me. I wanted to be faster at that, because then I had to paint over the gray lines, and that was taking longer. There's several reasons why I decided to try this approach, and like I said, it's not the most pretty looking thing, but it's the fastest to achieve. It's about the end goal, It's about actually having something nice looking quickly. So right now, what I'm doing, okay, first things that I do when it comes to this way of painting, what I've come up with is, after doing the line art with the color of the thing you're line arting, right? So in the case of the face, then I would have the color, or the local color of the face. If it's a coat, then I would draw the line art with the local color of the coat. And after that, I'm looking for shadows. To me, my brain processes better the shape of the shadows, so that's what I go right into. I just go and do the shapes of the shadows where I would feel like they would fall. Afterwards, which is around now, I'm gonna grab a lighter value of the color of the coat. I'm gonna grab a lighter value. How light do I want it? Maybe this light? Depends of the light source, where the light source is coming from. But so right now I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm actually just do the paint over where I feel like the light might fall. And again, it's not the most pretty thing right now, but you guys will see how fast everything is gonna fall in once I have all the elements down. So again, value-wise, everything got a read. And wait, not shadow, midtones. Let's add some gradients while we're here. Okay, back to the coat. So I want kind of like a backlighting, and then I want some kind of edge lighting after that. So with that in mind, that's what we're gonna do. So there's gonna be an arm here right now. You can't really see much. And to be honest, like I said, this works very well. It's just that it's unflattering throughout the piece. Like you have to actually hold yourself from making things prettier if you want to get to the end result faster. And right now I'm researching a bit more on how can I have that extra nice thing, which is making it look nice throughout. But it's kind of hard, honestly. Making things nice looking, from my experience using this technique, is actually knowing beforehand what you're gonna paint. So if you start randomly, then you're gonna have a very ugly start. But if you already know exactly what you're gonna draw and so on, then obviously you have a better idea, and therefore you'll get to the pretty part faster. Hey, what's up, Jorgzer? How are you doing, man? And welcome to my channel. Drunk Jesus says, it seems like this technique is a lot more free-flowing. Thank you for the response, really helpful. I think it's extremely beautiful from a technical standpoint, even at this early stage. Thanks, man. I really appreciate your kind words. But it's gonna look it's gonna look much better than this, hopefully. Okay, so for example, now he's missing arms. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna try to draw in some arms with the color, with the skin tone color. Just how do I want this? Right now I'm thinking about the gesture more than anything. I want him to hold something shiny, like a magical stone or whatever. So I'm more thinking about the gesture and position rather than the actual correctedness. So I'm thinking right now that the angle of it is not very good. I'm gonna open a new layer and let's see if I can do this better. Better position. Okay, yeah, here feels like it's much better for me. I want him to have maybe something under. So I'm introducing a new color, because he'll have under the coat, he'll have a shirt obviously, and we can see some of that shirt coming out, the sleeve coming out from there. Again, not pretty, but that's the nature of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Gonna add the shadows of the hand. Gonna flip the image a little bit to kind of refresh my eyes. So every time you flip, you start seeing things a little bit more different, or you start noticing other things you weren't because your eyes got used to one position. Like the moment you flip something or you turn it upside down or whatever, you automatically look at other things differently. For example, I'm looking at the background, like why is it finishing here? He's in some kind of a castle or something. So I have the hand here, right? Who? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, this is very, this technique goes very well with the smudge tools, which I use a lot. Because when you shape paint, smudge tool really helps you. And when it's this messy, smoothing things out quickly with the smudge tool is it's really helpful, at least to me. Okay, so he's gonna hold. Oh wait, let me do the other hand. Let me do the other hand. And let's add some lighter gradient on this hand. Just to have an indication of direction from the light, but not too much. Not too much. So quickly paint the shape of the hands very roughly. The other hand. So at a very small stage, you start to know what is going on. Let me merge everything together, and now I need to. And this is where I always have a problem, because it's so fast. I need to tweak the drawing aspect like that. Maybe he's gonna hold a sword or something. Maybe he will hold something. Right now we're brainstorming, to be honest. Maybe he'll hold something. And this is as real as it gets. There you go. Let's see. Hey, what's up? What's up, Panda? How are you doing? So, this guy. Yeah, like I said, maybe he'll be holding swords. That goes through. Erosian, thanks for the follow, man. I really appreciate it, and hope you enjoy the stream. grab a different brush, something more smooth. I really want to do his face. It's always bothersome when you leave the faces, but I feel like if I start doing the face, I'm not gonna move on with anything else. So I'm just gonna leave it soft. And also it's better, one thing I've realized, it's better to actually have softer gradients in the very beginning. Just trying to introduce some more interesting shapes to the color. It's very... I like the roundness of it, but it needs something. So that's what I'm exactly gonna do. I want to make his hair really long. Good, good. Finally managed to catch your live stream. Why couldn't you before? I mean, I'm still live streaming at the same hour. Gonna blur the backgrounds. Just to have more focus on the character itself. Oh, what happened? Can always surface blur it. Nah, just normal blur. Here you go. Okay, now... Oh wait, I'm missing the rock that I forgot. And... there's a problem here with his arm. I make this more larger. And also, I want to make his hand a little more in to the body. Because right now he looks really broad-shouldered. Has really broad shoulders. Like so. I'm gonna erase some of this here. So I'm trying to... I'm doing these adjustments because of the gesture itself. Didn't seem... it wasn't as good as it could be. Alright, we're almost done with the ugly part. So, what is this? Okay, so we're gonna make a stone. Christina Toxic Panda is now following. Thanks for the follow, man. I really appreciate it. So, I'm gonna add a stone. Something. It's gonna hold something. The color, I guess I'll do it green. Or maybe it'll become yellow. But, And now it'll be like that. Gonna add some stronger highlights and stronger in saturation as well. I'm gonna make the center a little bit more darker to give that contrast. Maybe yellow. Oh wait, alright, so like this. It's a little bit better with the color scheme. Make this darker. Now that will affect a little bit everything else. That's why I was wanting to leave that for the end, because right now I'm gonna make a new layer, have a color dodge, and I want to light up this area here. I don't want, I've been doing too much green lately. Kinda sick of it, to be honest. Can just do blue. Everything is blue. Let's just do blue. Like that. So yeah, again, like you want to develop the idea first before actually making things pretty. Because making things pretty, once you get used to rendering stuff, but I don't want this to be his main light source. Like I'm saying, once you get used to rendering things, that's the least important, because that's just, you know, that's just time, consumed time. You do gotta think about a few things, but it's not as important as the initial idea. Also, I'm looking at it. There's some value problems. Like I should make this a little darker. Should definitely make this darker. So I tend to make my characters' values a bit too much in the middle value. So right now it's kind of grayish, and right now, you know, the colors and the values are more distinct, especially compared to the background. And his sword is exactly the same story. Alright, so back to the... Maybe he's not holding any stone, because the stone looks dumb, honestly speaking. Okay, change of plans. He's not holding a stone anymore. Maybe we go for his focusing on a spell or something. Whatever traditional idea we usually have tends to work well. I could make a crystal, but it's not fitting with the composition. And I'm starting to think about the sword as well, if I want to have it. Okay, change of plans. I want to have the sword. I don't want to have it like that though. And I'm gonna change the hand gesture. See, this is why we try to avoid the pretty stuff, because it's gonna be changed anyway. You only start making it pretty when you settle for something 100%. So imagine if I would have rendered that, then I will be like, oh man, I don't want to change now because it's pretty painted. Then I would have not changed it. No, I want the exact same thing, except his arm gotta be a little twisted like that, and you'll see why. Do I want his hand gesture to be like this, or I want a more gnarly kind of looking hand? Do I want something like that, or something more subtle, the way it is right now? Because right now it's subtle. But anyway, back to the sword. Gonna make the swords. Actually, I'm gonna merge these. Gonna make the sword on a different layer. Pick a mid-tone. And as I said, I want the sword, but I want it different angle. Now where do we want it to point? It's like this. Does it go under the arm? No, that's stupid. Let's go over. So let's create a new layer. Then lock it. Not lock it, but do that thing where they become two layers become one. Then I'm gonna set that layer to color dodge, and I'm gonna add in a reflection where the I'm gonna add a reflection onto the sword where the magic will kind of reflect on. So, you know, we're making our way towards the pretty part. Okay, I'm gonna merge everything like that, and I can start adding the additional light sources that I want. Again, with this process, you gotta be, at least for me, I gotta be pretty patient because I want to add all the nice things. I want it to be a cold light. I want this to be overall cold. Let's use a linear dodge for this instead of a color dodge. Trying to pick. Do I want it bluer or I want it more white? Let's go for now with more white. So right now I'm just more thinking about placement of where the light is gonna fall, and once I have that done, I will start rendering everything else properly. So we have an idea, right? It's a very basic one, but this is a practice anyway. And with practice, you always want to simplify so that you can, you know, understand what you're doing. Especially with research, when you try to find something for yourself, and you're not really seeing it anywhere else, then you gotta take things slow. And so there's gonna be two light situations. So there's a main light coming from the top left, and then the good old dodge on the side lighting, or however you call it. but this is not making it for me. Maybe I actually need color dodge in the end. Just I need to make this what I want, linear color. I want color dodge, but this color dodge is also very... Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay, it's giving me the more of the effect that I want. It's... Let me just color pick. Actually, linear dodge is still winning now that I go back to it. So actually, let's keep the linear dodge. We'll see how it goes. If it's not enough, we'll create a new layer, and it's not a problem. We'll just create a new layer. Let's go right here. There. So you can start. You're starting to see everything fall in nicely. There's some areas that it's still a bit too bright, and some areas that are not too dark. And this is the part where I have to hold myself out, because I really want to get into that and start fixing everything. So if you have any questions about what I'm doing and something that is not making sense for you, let me know. Right now I'm just kind of thinking, where would this side lighting fall? It's not very side lighting, actually. It's more like of a... Let me make a new layer, actually. Color dodge. So we want it like coming from color dodge. Come on, change. Ah, god damn it. New layer. Color dodge. Okay, now we go. So we want it kind of like coming like this. You know? Maybe have a bit of the background, have that as well. Makes the character pop out a little bit more, which is always nice. Have that cinematic look to it. So this side is a little too much, so let's erase it out. Okay, smooth it, because we don't want too many textures in the background. We want it to be softly mostly. Now the sword, some areas gotta be darker. So so continuing with the edge lighting or side lighting. Where is it gonna fall? How much do we want it to affect our character? That's what I'm questioning myself right now. Just a second, guys. I got some. My girl got some guests here. So right now I'm still doing the same. I'm thinking where the light might fall and how does it fall. I to kind of wanted to define my arm here. That's the point I'm looking for. I'm trying to look for um, an excuse, to be honest. I'm just finding a bunch of excuses to make the image cooler and make the lighting nicer and actually describe easier my the illustrations. And this light magic is gonna affect the character too, but a little bit. We gotta put on priorities. So we already have a main light source, right? It's definitely not gonna hurt adding this one, but we want just subtlety wins most of the time. When it comes to details, subtlety is definitely winning. So we want a little bit on the hair, strings. So, if I put this very, very small, imagine that this would be like a card or something. Um, you can already have a pretty good idea where it's heading, and the point is to have everything set, planned out, and just laid out there for you, and then you just have fun rendering it and making it prettier. So how much do we want it to affect our face? That is the real question. I don't want it too much. Maybe just like green on the chin. It doesn't even get to the nose. It's not that strong. So the light is very concentrated on the hand, and maybe even a little bit too much because I see whites going on there. But once I paint over, it's gonna so like the radius of the light, it would be like this, if I were to be blunt about it. It's kind of like where I'm going for in terms of how far this magic light is going. Of course, whatever it's very reflective, it can reach a bit further, like in the swords. Even if the radius is like this, because the sword is so reflective, actually it will still pick up. Because very polished metal picks up almost like a mirror, everything around, yeah, everything around the swords, if it's very polished. All right. What else? What else? Right now I'm thinking about more lighting things I can add. Um, want to add a bit more gradient into the dark sides of the hair. How did you install? So Satharin, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Is asking how do you install Colores 2? I have been trying, but it seems not to work. Hmm. I hmm. I just followed the instructions. Hmm. I wish I had a better answer for that, honestly. I had plugins not work with me before, but I never understood why. Colores was, fortunately, was not one of them. Try if you have a 64-bit Windows, then try to install it both the 32 version and the 64 version of Photoshop, both folders. Maybe try that. I think I've done that once before, because I have a 64, and you know how it always makes like a copy for 32 bits and 64 bits. Okay, so I'm gonna merge this. In terms of lighting situation, we're done, which is a very important part, right? And now, honestly, I think we can start having fun. I think we can start rendering and make things pretty looking. Mm, I'll start with fixing in some of the values here to give me even better base. So this code needs a little bit more darker values, like so. And notice I'm using a soft brush because I don't want it to be very blatant, you know, I don't want blatant brush strokes. That's for after we're done and we start rendering. So right now I'm just using a soft brush, more to indicate placements and subtle suggestions on things that I want to have it changed or fixed. Then later on I'll get in there with a more harder brush and paint things in. Okay, so this is the hair, and then I gotta soften this magic here because the texture of the brush that I use for this magic is getting in the way of actually drawing the hair. So add a little bit more extension to the hair. Some areas on the skin tone are a little bit too saturated. So I gotta desaturate it out. And I'm gonna make the hand area a little bit more contrasty. The color and light more focused. Satharin, if nothing works, I really suggest you to submit a report for them. They're very helpful. I know that for a fact, and they answer fast. I used to have a problem with the first Colores, and I got an answer very fast. Okay, so this is where we start implementing details and starting to making things a bit prettier. You know, finally adding eyes and all that stuff. But still, I'm still using a soft brush because I don't want it to be very defined yet. Because I haven't anything that needs to be drawn from you know, from the beginning, that's already not placed. I always try to, in this situation, I try to have it. Yeah, in this situation, I try to paint it very softly, and then I'll go over. I don't know. Maybe it's a weird technique, but it works for me. I want him to look away from the camera. So that's what we're gonna do. Kawaii Heishi, hey, what's up, man? I have Painter's Wheel instead of Colores, and it's been really laggy lately. Painter's Wheel is really good too. It's the free one, right? Or is it the Magic Picker one? No, the Magic Picker one. But anyways, yeah, that kind of sucks because a lot of these plugins you can't use them without internet. I think I only know one that you can use without internet. I was gonna make this a guy, but honestly, let's make this a girl. I'm gonna change the face shape of it. Let's make it a girl. That's the beauty of having everything still, you know, it's there, but it's not there. You can still change easily. It'll just look like she has a big coat on, which is cool too. So let's change some things here. Thinner eyebrows, bigger cheekbones. So you see, like, slowly we're getting there. It feels so good to get there. By the way, guys, do you what do you think about the quality of the stream? Because I had new internet installed today. I already had it before, but now it should be faster. At this point, we can just, without any worries, get in and start making things prettier, more defined, and better render. Actually, start from the eyes, because our eyes are very um, they're not they're not defined, basically. Very good. Well, I'm happy then. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, because right now it's pretty straightforward. Like I just gotta render, just gotta make everything prettier, sharper, more defined, better drawn, you know. Um, Thanks, Drunk Jesus. Yeah, like I said, it's just establishing it, like imagine that this would be like a professional, like complete piece, or you want to have something a lot done in just one day, and you want to show it to your client. I To me this works very well. And to be honest, I'm pretty happy with the results. And yeah. Um, I'm thinking that maybe you can skip even more of the rendering by spending more time in the drawing phase in the very, very beginning. Um, but I haven't tested it out much. I want to first get used to with what I achieved so far, and once I'm used to this way of painting and I feel like I'm faster, then I think I'm gonna do some more research and try to see if I can come up with an even faster way or more accurate. Because speed is not a problem. Because we've been live streaming for what, an hour, looking at it. Uh, Now on this part, there, like adding the really dark accents really bring definition and makes things a bit more real. All right. So, um, just kind of focusing in there. And as you can see, like, after the thing that we've done, after the whole quick sketch, then rendering to make it look final becomes much faster. You know, it just takes time. It's rendering, and it simply, that's the nature of it. It just takes time. But the main idea, I hope you guys got it, how to reach, you know, this point, you know, within an hour and a half. You know, the same rules, the same, well, no, not really rules, but the same everything applies to environments. It applies to just design. You can apply exactly this same thing pretty much on whatever aspect of drawing and painting. That's what I'm doing right now. After I'm done with the sketch, another thing I do is start refine. If you don't know what you're gonna refine or start refining after, you know, after you're done with the setup and the whole sketch, then just refine what's important, you know. So this is a close-up. Since this is a close-up, you know, her face obviously is gonna be pretty important. Faces and hands, generally speaking, are the most important, especially in a portrait like this. And just keep refining and refining. And whenever you introduce a new, for example, if I want to introduce, let's say, some kind of let's see, what do I want? Some kind of filigree or something. Then you do the same, exact the same thing. Just draw in whatever design, even if it's already rendered. If something is already rendered, you can still do the same thing. Just draw in the design that you wish for. So right now I'm just making some shapes, some interesting looking shapes, and there you go. It's exactly the same thing, you know. From this point on, most likely it would take me another hour or so to reach this point, to you know, refine everything to a point where it's still not final, but maybe halfway. So Robert Cubic asks, John Silva, hey, oh no, that's me. So he asks, hey John, I got today into OS 5 Pro, do you use buttons, circles on your tablet? No, I did in the beginning when I got a tablet too, but once I realized how many buttons I had to press, I kind of stopped because I was using my keyboard much more than the actual buttons. But with that said, since you're a beginner, like try it, you know, use it. If you feel the need to use more buttons, if you'll start figuring out that you need more buttons, then you'll worry about that when it happens. But for now, you can use whatever you want. Usually when it comes to painting, I make changes depending on the need. So I did use the buttons on the side in the beginning, but after like couple months, the more I was becoming proficient at painting in the tablet, the more I was realizing I need more buttons and more things. That could be just me. That could be just a personal preference. Yeah, but yeah, when it comes to me, I change the way I work depending on need. You know, both ways, like the actual painting techniques and also setup. Because why should you? You know, after you grow and you get better, like there's no need to stick around using the same old methods. Eventually you'll figure out that you need something more efficient, right? Efficiency, time is money. That's kind of the whole thing. Hey Capos, thanks for the follow, man. We appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the stream. And yeah, so like I was saying, I went from using the buttons on the tablet to finally just quit over it and just use the keyboard, which a lot of people do, and that kind of sticks. But then I was doing some research and I found out this really cool, what you call it, like it's a keyboard called Razer Nostromo. And it's a gaming mouse, not mouse, a gaming keyboard, and it's made ergonomically. Yeah, it's made ergonomically. You can put macros into it. So what a macro is I press one button, and while I press that button, 10 things can happen if I wish so, right? So for example, flipping, I press one button. But in the keyboard, I have to do Control X. That's what I have my keyboard set to. And so on and so forth. So all the Control Z, Control Shift Z, and Control Shift C, all those crazy things you gotta do with your hands. I felt like it's just too many things, too many weird ways of having to do those common tasks. So right now I have everything assigned to just one button. Every single thing I do, regardless of how complex it is, it's just one button away. And I don't have to move my wrist, which is very important. Your wrist is extremely important. And that's another reason why I bought the Nostromo, because I found myself in a situation where I had one arm raised to the front and the other arm was you know, on the tablet. So it's kind of like one shoulder was to the front and the other shoulder was to the back, and that was my natural, you know, my position for most of my workday. And that at the end of the day, it was hurting my back really a lot, and my wrists and my hand and everything else. So I decided to do some research on ergonomics and how can I improve, you know, the way I sit at least. And you know, there's several things that you can do. Even if you don't have a Nostromo, there's other cheaper ways. I know there's like a fake Nostromo out there, because Nostromos are expensive. But this one is like 20 bucks. There's a fake Nostromo out there. It's like 20 bucks, and it does the exact same thing. Back then I actually would have preferred to buy that, but I didn't know it existed, or maybe it just came out after some time. But yeah, ergonomics. So you have to have your elbows and your, like, ideally your elbows and your knees, they have to be 90 degrees angle, so that they're like, I can show you, but it's just they have to be 90 degrees angle, and that's the best, like really the best position for sitting and working at a desk, you know. So I changed my setup. I used to have my tablet in front of me,